our first Martian is Justina Kasiulevičiūtė, who's a head of process automation unit at ESO. And she is my true heroine, my true hero. I'm not gonna say all the things that I have written here about her. You might as well ask her that yourselves. She's gonna talk about her work. I'm just gonna mention a few things that I am, as a woman, am very proud of. Justina is a Woman Go Tech alumna. I am remarkable facilitator, and she's just generally passionate about women in tech and is empowering women to go tech. Let's hear from Justina, I guess, and begin this program, which we are calling Expanding Your Human Workforce with Digital Robots. Justina.
So, hello everyone, greetings from Lithuania. Well, first time such experience as hybrid conference, so hopefully you can hear me well and we will be without any technical issues, and also welcome those who are here with me together. So let's begin. I will start with one statement which I like a lot, so nothing can stop automation. And today we will talk about RPA, robots, digital robots, why we are really important. And well, the question is whether you are in with automation journey now or you will be lagging behind your competitors. So this is the journey which I will talk about today. So a little bit about myself. So currently I'm working as a head of process automation unit in one of the energy distribution company, ESO in Lithuania. Myself, I'm in RPA field, robotic process automation, for more than 5 years already. So have a lot of experience which I want to share with you today. At the moment, I'm managing digital workforce of 126 automated processes, so-called robots, so a huge farm. And yeah, well, already mentioned my hobbies related to IT, Women Go Tech and stuff like that, but it's not about that today. The content, so I will definitely talk about RPA. What does it mean? Because hopefully the ones who have read my description of this conference topic, so we will definitely talk what does it mean to implement RPA. And afterwards, about vision, organization, technology, people, how I managed to create that huge arm of robots. So before, at the beginning, I will talk about what does it mean RPA, what our acronyms stand for. So RPA, Robotic Process Automation, better known as software robots. The main idea of this technology is to get rid of repetitive tasks which are done by employees, because this technology allowed to mimic their work. And as in the picture on my right, what would an office robot look like? So it's like somebody is playing piano but without the human. So the same with RPA technology. I will show you video, so you will think that it's like a human working, but there is no human behind. And it's not about creating terminators, it's robots which are digital ones. So I'm gonna show you a short video. Actually, it's robots working, not a human, but actually it looks like it's a simple employee doing the steps, because this technology, the software, is based on mimicking what are the humans doing. So what's one of the difference when compared to other technologies, RPA does not need to have any changes done to IT software. It's simply logins as any human would do that. So, and here in the video you can see that there's no something strange going on, simple steps done by, like, would be done by the employee. So this is how does it look like in reality. And on my right, you can see a small extraction of software which is used for this RPA technology, special software. The extraction is from UiPath. We are currently using this software, but there's more like Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere. And the whole idea is like to create rules for the robot to follow. So it's a rule-based technology, how to say. So you can say that there's no coding behind. It's putting like blocks. And for the idea of opening Facebook and logging in, you select step open browser. You tell what kind of browser needs to be opened, what is the link. And afterwards you say for that software what needs to be typed as like username or password. So this is the idea behind what is that RPA, what is the magic behind. And as I mentioned before, this technology is aimed to get rid of those repetitive high volume tasks which are boring usually for the employees, just to toggle between same applications, copy and paste same stuff twice or even more, because with all the legacy systems it's not so easy to have all integrations which would like automatically transfer the data. So most of us have those boring jobs like create some reports and stuff like that. So this RPA is aimed to solve this kind of problem. A few benefits which I want to mention about this technology. So definitely 24/7 kind of work that robots don't get sick. We are not getting coffee or holidays. So with this technology, you can make sure that all the processes are done without any interruption during night and daytime and any time you need it. Also, with this technology, your processes become like more flexible because, well, to train more robots, it's just a matter of minutes, but to train more people, to hire them, it takes a lot of time. So with this technology, you definitely can react to any kind of process changes in a more quicker manner. Also, better audit manage, for example, because robots can log in everything, all the information. So afterwards, if you want to get any kind of reports and I don't know, machine learning stuff to make any projections for the future, so it's easier because with an employee doing that, you will not be able to get everything he types in so easy. Also cost reduction, so in terms of license fees when compared to hiring new people, so well, it's definitely cost saving as well. Improved accuracy and quality, so here we get rid of that human error, which is sometimes happening whether we want it or not. So with robots, we can add as many rules as we want to, just to make sure that any mistakes are not left in the software in the IT system which we are using. And rapid scalability, so yeah, you can add more robots very quickly. It's just a matter of a few minutes, and if you have like volume increases which are not through a year or just for example for the summer, so you can add a few more licenses during that peak times and solve that as well. So those are main benefits. There are many more, but I would also want to talk about that implementation part, what needs to be taken into consideration and into your mind, not to make some mistakes. And before that, also I wanted to mention just the whole spectrum of automation, because RPA is just a part of that spectrum. And everything starts with macros. For example, with XLBA, you're already automating something that by doing that macro, for example, you are doing it quicker. You are not copy and pasting same stuff, for example, with Excel, or using Power Automate. You can also streamline some of your processes which are done daily. Afterwards, we have BPM and robot desktop automation, and here stands the robotic process automation before moving forward to that artificial intelligence part. So this is not like basic software, it's more advanced because robots are working in their own desktops. We are not triggering employees' work, we are working separately, we have their own desktops. So this is like more advanced technology, but not that artificial intelligence part of. So this is the future where we are going, but to understand that it's very important. So now about the lessons which I want to share with you according to my experience. So talking about vision, it's really important to think from very beginning whether you would like to have RPA in your company only as a sole software, or are you thinking about automation in general? Because it's really important from very beginning to understand whether you will be implementing more technologies, whether you will be using, for example, RPA together with machine learning. If so, you will need to hire accordingly people who have that kind of skills. If you think about only RPA, so it's easier because, well, RPA is sold as a code low technology, and I showed you some pictures, so there is no coding. Actually, you can do that, but it's not necessarily. So it's important to understand how your company will move forward afterwards, whether only RPA or maybe you will be combining more advanced technologies. Also, don't forget to understand and evaluate what's going in the market. For example, myself, my company is from energy sector, so there are a lot of things going on like smart meters, predictive maintenance, drones, smart cities. So the whole industry is challenging to be faster, to be oriented to the clients, and we cannot skip that part. Nothing can stop automation, but especially in the sector, because there are a lot of new technologies coming in. So RPA allows to somehow adjust to that change. So don't forget to measure what your competitors are doing. If you're thinking, I'm not sure whether we need RPA. So look around what others are doing, and if they are already doing that, so you better also start to think about this technology as well. What else? About efficiency. Usually it's kind of open question whether to automate first or optimize. So my advice would be to optimize first, because with automation on an inefficient process, you just will magnify the inefficiency. So this is also thing that needs to be considered before how you will move forward, because, well, again, only with RPA, somehow it's easier. You are just mimicking what people are doing. But if you are thinking about implementing machine learning, then you definitely need to have a process very, very clear and very correct one, because the technology itself will be learning. So with inefficiencies, you will be magnifying inefficiencies as well. In terms of organization, here I would mention that it's really important to understand the awareness of technology and maturity of technology on your company. Because maybe it would be enough for you to start from teaching employees to use Outlook rules or clipboard hotkeys. So this is the reality which cannot be skipped. You need to understand how advanced your organization is in terms of technology. So if you're like smart and you very quick already, so yeah, definitely RPA will help you a lot. If you are using, how to say, instead of Excel, writing on paper, so maybe let's start from teaching people to use Excel, and already they will be quicker. Again, but also it's really important to think about IT role here, because usually the ones who are programming, we would say, oh, I can write a script instead of robots and it would be quicker and stuff like that. So you need to be on board with IT, how you will be automating processes, and how you will decide which process will go for example, IT integration, or which will be for the robot. In our case, what we have done, we understand that sometimes it's quicker to automate using robots. So if, for example, for the temporary time, we automate using RPA technology. When the IT guys are ready for an IT integration, we just kill the robot, how to say. But it's also very important to align on that strategy, because, well, it's not like IT software, it's not scripts, but it's definitely one of the parts which are concerning them. Talking about governance and pipeline, my advice would be always think about the problem and the return on investment, because well, usually it gets very sexy to implement chatbot, use machine learning and all the cool technologies, but you really need to understand what's your problem. Because, for example, you can implement chatbot, but maybe your customer just needs interactive Q&A or simple app. It would be easier to implement that and easier to maintain, and it would be like not so costly. So yeah, well, it will not sound so trendy, but you will solve a problem. So with RPA as well, it's the same. You always need to think about business case and the most efficient way of solving that problem. And you need to evaluate maintenance costs, IT integration costs. So it's also the thing which matters to understand what's really a problem that you're trying to solve. Also about KPIs, one of the things with RPA that, well, you are trying to get rid of those monotonous routine tasks. So in order for people not to be afraid of being laid off, yes, you need to like really sell that idea of the robots, that we are here to help to get rid of the boring task and free up the time for the more value added. But if you skip that part and just create robots, where some of the employees might be afraid, then you will get some resistance. So my advice would be to think about KPIs, what you're trying to solve, what kind of problem, and if you're saving time for more value-added tasks, so you will need to stress to like pay more attention to that. And of course, prioritize the process which are easier to automate and stuff like that. So it's also important. Talking about delivery methodology, my advice would be use Google. Usually for us, it saves a lot of time because, for example, my team is at the moment using not only RPA but machine learning, computer vision, and we learned everything by ourselves. So as I like to say, sometimes all bicycles are already invented. So don't be afraid of looking for open CVs, open libraries. There are a lot of forums. There are a lot of robots also created already. So you can find all the information and discuss with other, for example, developers how we solved one or another problem. So this is, well, one of the channel which is very popular, and don't forget to use it. Also, with a technology comes that trial and error part. So I guess that you need to understand that it's not a silver bullet, and some things might crash. So if you are like paying attention to that part of testing, showing the business line how the robots are working, bringing them on board so that we understand how the robot will work, it will save you some time afterwards, because the more you test, like in an agile approach, you will the quicker you will show for the business line how the robots work. Because, well, it sometimes look like, okay, it's just mimicking my steps, so what could be wrong? But sometimes people do not pay attention to the exceptions. They think that everything goes all well all the time. So the more you test, the more you show them that, oh, look, there's not like one or another scenario is not the usual one. So how will the robot need to act in this case? About service model, my advice would be talk about that expectations part, because it will not be like 100% correct all the time. Perhaps here, like as about any of automation technology, you need to make sure that in technology we trust. So, and in order to get that trust, we need to set that expectations accordingly. But there are possibility of errors. There is a possibility of false positive. And what does it mean with false positive? Either the robot or any technology is not right, or, for example, the format of the document is very poor. And that's why the technology was not able to extract the information. So in our case, how we solve it, one of the possibilities to get like such a technology as human in the loop, and, for example, provide for the employees to double check the information which were like rejected by the robot, to check whether the information is either not here or the quality of document is very poor. So here you need to invest some time, because otherwise people will see, okay, it's not the right decision which was made by the robot, so it's not working correct, and get rid of that. So no, it's not the case, but you need to invest time, because when people make mistakes, we usually tend to blame technology. It's easier like that, I would say, from like perspective of psychology. So the more you invest on the teaching and coaching how the technology works, either script or I don't know anything, the machine learning model, the less resistant you will get. About technology parts, so setting expectations, yeah, so it's one of the most important thing, because it will not be a silver bullet. There are limitations. For example, RPA, what are limitations? So it will not work right with unstructured data. So if you have unstructured data coming in, you need to think about alternatives, like using, I don't know, machine learning solutions, or I don't know, chatbots and stuff like that. So those are the limitations, and you need to think about them before starting for your RPA journey. And well, actually, if you're like thinking from very beginning about scaling like in a wider manner, so the more tools your team or I don't know, your company will have, the more easier for you will be to challenge those problems and be able to solve them inside. So the wider toolkit allows you to like react in a more efficient manner, either with macro or robot, RPA, or machine learning model. But anyways, if not combining all of the technologies together, like going like step by step towards the more sophisticated solutions. So you need to understand what are the limitations, and that sometimes you will not be able to solve all the problems. And talking about people part, so this is important in terms of training. Usually with RPA, if you Google it, you will see that you don't need to be programmer to be able to use the software. Partially, yes, but for the employees to be able to find those processes for automation, we definitely need to understand how this technology works. So we need to invest time to like raise that awareness of technology, of IT. Also, if you're thinking about not only RPA, but about the more sophisticated solutions, so we'll definitely need to hire people who have that kind of skill set. So it's things that you need to measure yourself. Also, algorithms have parents. What does it mean? So there is a possibility of unconscious bias. So if you do not have code reviews or any kind of procedures which would allow you to make sure that everybody is creating on the, I don't know, according to the same procedures, according to the same best practices, otherwise for you it will be very hard to maintain that solution. Also, if you're like outsourcing something and you think that, okay, we will hire a consulting team who will create for us a robot, for example, so also you will need to think about how you afterwards will maintain that solution, how you will deal with the robot, and how you will make that robot's arm going well if some changes comes to the process. So again, you need to think about the contingency, like the business continuity plan, and how you afterwards will work with those digital robots. Because, well, we are like new robots, just like, like new hires, just digital ones. So as you need to make sure that like John or Mary came to work, you also need to make sure that the robot called, I don't know, wherever Mars also came to the work. It's the same, it's just like different way. And what else for the last part? So my advice would be, if you're like just starters, and do not have RPAs. So perhaps it's best way just to go to gradually towards intelligent automation and try it on your own, because for example RPA have like open communities, and you can download that application and try yourself to look through whether you like that kind of robots. So it's easy to make that POC, proof of concept, to double check whether it's paying you off and that this kind of technology works for you. If you're thinking about creating robots ourselves, it's also one of the ways to check it, because well, it seems that this technology in Lithuania, it's about like started 6 years ago, but still I find some people who do not haven't heard about that. So it's one of our options to try yourself and see how does it look like, because well, until you try, you might not measure the real impact it can bring to your business. So yeah, from my side, almost I'm done. Maybe you have questions, so I can like elaborate more on one or another topic.
Let me just loud that up for our audiences. The question is from Vilius Krajutis, I believe. Hi. Yes, the question is, how do you test digital robots? Second one is, how do you ensure digital robots adapt to changes in systems as they are continuously improved? And what are most popular software tools to do the RPA?
So of a test part, so we the first part is once the developers create the robot, so we are testing ourselves, because well, the way how we create, we get the documentation from a business line who have asked for that robot with instructions, with rules, how the robot needs to work. So like instruction like from very beginning, so that the newcomer would be able to make that process himself. So we create according to those steps, when tests like in our software, and afterwards we either test with a business line, like say sitting next to each other, if we are not be able to test that with test cases in test environment, because it depends. If for example, robot is just like, I don't know, copying information and pasting to Excel, so you can manipulate any time. If you are making some changes in the system, you cannot like make them with mistakes. So we definitely have business line on board, so we can double check whether everything is right. But we are testing like by showing how does it work, and afterwards the business line can evaluate the results. If, for example, if the process needs to send emails to customers, so we are sending emails to ourselves, and we can check whether all the information provided was right. Another question about changes. So we need to adjust the robots also. So it depends on the scale of the changes. If it's just like, for example, one new button was added, so it will not impact the robot, because for the robots, for the RPA, there's no like freedom to, I don't know, to press something, I don't know, from which was not written before. So it only does what it was trained to do. So in case some of the buttons are, I don't know, we are not there anymore, so we will need to change the robot so that it would be able to press another button instead. But if, for example, the process itself changes, and for example, maybe before you needed to send to one department, now to another, so maybe the whole logic would change, so we need to change the robot as well. So it depends on the changes, but definitely some of them are impacting the robot, unless from very beginning we know that, for example, the place of a button might change. So we will create that dynamic logic that we will not be pressing according to the place, but maybe according to the name of a button. So it depends, but well, yeah. So it could be one of the RPA limitations if a process is changing a lot and IT system is changing a lot. So because yeah, you need to retrain the robot. And one more question was about, if I remember correctly, softwares. So there is no one answer because, well, it depends. There are a few, the most popular ones. I usually advise to look through the Gartner report. So now UiPath Automation Anywhere and I guess Microsoft. Blue Prismas also before used, but now things a little bit changed. But from my perspective, well, you need to think about what is important for you. For example, with UiPath, we are using UiPath, so there's a lot of possibilities to add more technologies together. Now we are testing task mining tool provided by UiPath. We are using human in the loop functionality. When the robot provides task for the humans, we correct something, and when robots proceed. So this technology, UiPath, allows us to add more functionalities in a quicker manner, and we can test a lot of new stuff. But if you're not, but for some it might not be an advantage if we are going for a more conservative way and just need, for example, RPA because there are a lot of those repetitive tasks. So you might not need UiPath, you might go with a different software. So it depends on the goals you want to reach with the technology. You can look for the information, but there will not be one answer because it really depends. For example, maybe for you will be the advantage that free trainings online. So UiPath suggests that, as well as Automation Anywhere. Blue Prism, I'm not sure, but they were not providing trainings online for free, but if you have a contract with them, you will get the full access to that library. So, well, it depends on your needs, and Google is full of information with examples. So if you're thinking about one of the technologies, so I will advise to Google or even try to combine a few ones. So it's easy afterwards to, I know you will not be dependent on sole software provider.
Well, if no one else has any questions, I still have some. So, I was thinking not only about automating the company business processes, but I was thinking about automating some of my personal tasks. Like, for example, I sometimes look to the top 10 most painful crashes we have in the system, and then I register those crashes from the application monitoring system to our task system, Jira. So I was thinking, can I then see... so probably there is a possibility to create that task automatically by the script, right? And what would be kind of a free, probably open source software I could try starting small and automating my personal tasks? Is there some ideas, suggestions?
Okay, and thank you for your question. So it depends on your company's security systems because, well, maybe InfoSec could be saying no, but there's such a program as Auto IT, Auto Hotkeys, where you can manipulate some of the clicks automatically, and it would be something like scripts, but those free tools allowed you to create that scripts in a easier manner. With this RP technology, there is such type of licenses as citizen development, that when you can allow employees to create more simple robots, how to say, but it depends on the licensing type and the strategy of the organization, because, well, you need to buy licenses, so you need to think about the way of enabling your employees to automate something by themselves. But for example, also one of the tools which are usually forgotten, Microsoft has such thing as Power Automate. It allows you to create easily automation flows with Teams, SharePoint, Outlook, and for example, once you get an email, an attachment could be added to a SharePoint list, and this is when the company has Microsoft, it usually has this opportunity to use Power Automate, and this is a tremendous opportunity to have some of those daily steps automated as well. And yeah, and also with, for example, with UiPath, you can download community version for free. It is for some time. Afterwards, I'm not sure how. Maybe you may be able to extend it. So for our testing purposes, it's also a good start to check how does it work. And for example, if it pays off for you, you can afterwards as a company buy the real licenses. Yeah, but well, again, my advice is use Google, because it's usually everything written over there. And for example, with Auto IT or Auto Hotkeys, so you definitely find some examples how to use it. Thank you.
Does that answer your questions? Any more? Anyone else? Okay, we only have a couple of more minutes, so we heard about Justina's work, and I just wanted to ask, what's next for you? What's in the plans?
For me, well, the main focus with my team is to implement those more sophisticated technologies more. So we are using computer vision, machine learning a little bit, but we look forward to use it in a brighter way. Also, we are testing now task mining, also new tool for us as well. So the plan for myself is to go through towards that intelligent automation even more, because I really like that RPA stuff, and I really like technologies and the dynamics it brings. So many more things are coming in, and before I started with RPA, I haven't heard about those robots. So that's why, and today I decided to talk about that RPA thing, because it seems that I get sometimes people who haven't heard about that, although it's 5 years in Lithuania, so in other countries, the UK, it's even more. So, I mean, perhaps there are technologies which are not existing now, and afterwards I might be implementing them in the far future.
Well, I guess we're wishing you all the best of luck with that. A round of applause, please, for Justina for a really great presentation. We're having some good feedback online as well.